TFT's Typhoon monitor is rated at 1,500 gallons per minute, either in the manual mode that we have here or our remote control unit that's here. And at 1,500 gallons per minute, we typically assume somewhere around 19 psi loss through that. And of course, they're all designed to operate up to 200 psi maximum pressure on these type monitors. And again, we have both versions here, both the manual version, which is typically used, we see it somewhat on the tops of fire apparatus for manual applications, but more times than not, we run into these. They're typically industrial applications where they need high flow, a lot of reach, and really a monitor that will hold up to often some corrosive atmospheres, sometimes through brackish water or salt water, something that will hold up to that rugged environment in some of these industrial settings. So that's really where the Typhoon lives. Tremendous reach at 1,500 gallons per minute. We have nozzles that we show here. We have both a 1250 version, a 1,500 version, and actually a 2,000 gallon per minute version can be used on these as well. And then we also have a very large set of stack tips that are matched up for the flow ranges up through 1,500 gallons per minute. So really your choice, whether it's the laser engraved stack tips or any of these nozzles. Plus all of these nozzles have an adjustability factor. The front of the nozzle has an operational pressure adjustment that can be done right in the field, anywhere from 80 psi operations up to 120 psi. So tremendous amount of ability to vary the performance of these nozzles to get maximum reach and penetration when you're using them. In this case on the manual, you can see we have several different versions of control devices. We have the large hand wheel that we have here. We have smaller hand wheels that can be used depending on clearance issues, as well as things like a tiller bar that can also be used manually, whether it's, again, top of truck application or in an industrial setting. The remote control units that we have pictured over here, and this one is mounted, you can see one of our new VUM or valve under monitors that we have integrated as part of this, which gives the ability to have both a valve for the monitor as well as individual valves that can be tapped off of this for any other 2.5 sort of discharge that you want to have. But here, this combination all includes TFT's really rugged and high performance electronic systems, both from a remote control that you have here, a radio frequency, or it could be a panel mounted operation, or there's also controls right here on the head of the gun as well. More times than not, these are mounted either in an aerial application or the top of a truck application, where radio frequency or remote control from the pump panel is very typical of what the pump operator would actually be using it for. Again, reducing staffing in some cases so that they have to stand on top of the truck. You more maximize your crew and make it a lot safer when using a remote control monitor in this manner. But again, these are very hardened for the sort of service that we see both in industry as well as on the top of truck applications. For years, people have been plagued with typically electronics issues on trucks where they come in contact with water. There's corrosion in wire harnesses and things like that, and TFT has done a tremendous amount to eliminate most of those problems, and this is why we just don't have too many problems with our remote control operated guns and stuff anymore. So the 1,500 GPM Typhoon version that we have both in the manual and the remote control, operationally it has a 45 down angle that you can use. That's about as low as it will go, and it'll go up to 90 degrees straight up and down. We even make a version that goes back to 135 degrees. The 135 degree version is a bit of a specialty piece, but it's allowed to be used on the end of aerials so that they have the ability to come back up from the angle of the area to maybe get up under something depending on how the fire department is using it. So we have all of those options, and again, ways of modifying that in the field and customizing it to the customer's needs. Available also in the industry side, we have both the 3-inch ANSI flange, 4-inch ANSI flange, then we have all sorts of pipe thread fittings, as well as our regular extend-a-gun type harness that we would use here that fits directly on our extend-a-guns. On the remote control versions, all the motors have position encoding in them, as well as current limiting, which gives a tremendous amount of protection to the gun, the electronics, things like that. In the European market, these of course are all CE approved over there. Every one comes with a 3.5-inch outlet that fits up to one of these nozzles, and for the most part this is probably one of the newest TFT monitors that we have, but also one of the highest performing monitors that we have. The design of the waterway, plus the fact that we powder coat the inside of the waterway, eliminating a tremendous amount of the friction loss inside the casting, making an amazingly smooth water path And by doing that, we reduce friction loss, of course, but it also translates out at the end to additional reach and penetration of the stream. And this is why these are so high performing compared to a lot of the other competitors' units that are out there in the field. So again, the powder coating, the hard coat anodizing, what we've done to harden all the electronics in the field, amazingly rugged, high-performing type monitors here, whether they're used in industry or if you've integrated it into one of the truck designs that you have. So if you have any additional questions about the Typhoon monitor or any of the combinations of nozzles that go with it, we have some information both on reach and trajectory, which is very handy if you're trying to, especially in the industrial setting, if you're trying to figure out reach from a certain location to a top of a tank or covering a certain area. So we have all that information, as well as a complete manual, which can be, we can either give this to you in a manual printed version here, or it's also available online. So if you'd like additional information on the Typhoon series of monitors, either fixed or remote control, let us know. You can contact the service and tech team at 800-348-2686, or feel free to come to the website and grab all this same additional information at tft.com.